Now, viewers, just days after India's blistering response in the Pahalgam terror attack in Operation Sindoor, a cornered, humiliated and terrified Pakistan is back to its old and cowardly playbook. Where its terror proxies exposed, Pakistan has resorted to a desperate provocation, opening unprovoked fire across the line of control. For the second straight day after India struck back, Pakistan's army is shamelessly violating ceasefire norms, targeting Gurudwara, Baramulla, Uri and Aknoor with small arms and heavy artillery. Pakistan's army shelling hit a Gurudwara, because of which one door and few glasses were shattered. 5 people from the Sikh community have died as well due to this provocation from Pakistan. Houses of Sikh families have been reduced to rubble, forcing families to flee to Gurudwara town. This is not crossfire. This is a deliberate attack on the identity, faith and peace of the country, and Pakistan must be held accountable. Let me go across to my colleague Tejshree, is joining us live at this point. Tejshree, this is proof of Pak's cowardice, because it has been targeting Pooch, which is a Muslim majority area. It has also been targeting Gurudwaras, despite claiming to be the country that looks after and cares for the concerns of the Sikhs. In every way, Pakistan's intent, Pakistan's cowardice and Pakistan's Pakistan's desperation have been exposed.
Well, absolutely not just the Gurudwara, but also the religious places, the temple as well, from where we are reporting right now. Let me tell you that this particular temple, the temple of Lord Krishna, is located just in the middle of the Poonch city, which surprisingly has no, army cantonment or the post of army over here near this entire area. But you can see the kind of damage this entire, the cross-border shelling, not just that, but the unprovoked firing by Pakistan has caused over here. The entire rooftop of this particular temple has been damaged, and you see, since India is at a lower, this Poonch district particularly is at a lower end over here, so in fact it is very easy for Pakistan to identify that which area is a civil area where civilians reside and which area is an army cantonment area. So if Pakistan had to target on such areas, why Pakistan is deliberately targeting on these areas where people have been staying? Now people also do believe that if this particular temple had not been there, the damage, the explosion could have been much bigger. We'll move this side as well and show you the visuals of the marks that these artillery shelling have caused. You can see not just one mark, but multiple marks have been caused here. You can see over there that the mortar was fired, not just one mortar, but multiple mortars were fired from that particular area. That is the POK, and in fact it has damaged this wall, it has damaged that particular wall. And in fact, can you even imagine that the iron rods that seems to be 15 millimeter thick, and it is very difficult to break this iron rod without continuous hammering. But you can see that how this iron rod has completely been broken, and this entire iron rod, you see another iron rod, this iron rod is completely broken down. I should not say damaged, but broken. So you can see that it is difficult to cut iron into 2 pieces unless there is any strong attack that's been made from the other side. And definitely there was a very intense attack that was made from the side of Pakistan. We also have a priest over here to talk to us. सर, किस तरह से यहाँ पर डैमेज हुआ है? जानबूझ के पाकिस्तान यहाँ पर आम नागरिकों को टारगेट कर रहा है।
देखो, ये ऐसा नहीं करना था, उन्होंने पब्लिक के ऊपर नहीं टारगेट करना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये निर्दोष हैं इनके, मगर ये जैसे जिस हिसाब से उन्होंने जो किया है, मगर ये जो धरती है, ये धरती बहुत तपस्वी धरती है। उस तप के बल से जैसे स्थिति देख रहे हैं, जैसा ब्लास्ट हुआ है, इसमें
सर संतों की धरती मानी जाती है, और यहाँ पर भारत जो है वो लगातार आतंकवादियों के अड्डों पर टारगेट कर रहा है, लेकिन पाकिस्तान यहाँ पर मंदिरों पर, गुरुद्वारों पर टारगेट,
मंदिरों पे या गुरुद्वारों पे उन्होंने टारगेट किया। फिर भी देखो, एक गुरुद्वारा और मंदिर के होने से ही ये जो है ये पब्लिक बच गई है। नहीं तो
लोगों का ये मानना है यहाँ पर कि यदि मंदिर नहीं होता, गुरुद्वारा जिस तरह से बना हुआ नहीं होता, तो कई लोगों की जाने जा सकती थी।
बिल्कुल जाए जाती, क्योंकि ये उसी तपस्वी जो धरती है, जो तप है ऋषियों महात्मा का, जो इन संतों का जो ये मंदिर है, गुरुद्वारा है, बहुत इनके बल से, शक्ति से ही ये हमारा बचाव हुआ है
जी।
नहीं तो जान से
कई लोग यहाँ पर इंजर्ड भी हुए हैं, जख्मी हुए हैं,
जख्मी भी हुए हैं, कुछ जख्मी भी हुए हैं, क्योंकि जो होगा कुछ तो होता ही है ना, जब कोई भी चीज।
लेकिन कई लोगों का ये भी कहना था कि 1965 के बाद और 1971 के बाद इस तरह से पहली बार पाकिस्तान जानबूझ के आम नागरिकों को और मंदिरों को टारगेट।
देखो, पहले गाँव के रिहायशी लोग, गाँव के जो होता था ऐसा कांड, तो वो सिटी में आते थे, अब सिटी के लोग बाहर चल गए हैं।
बिल्कुल, दैट इज डेफिनेटली वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट ओवर हियर टू नोट, बट आई वुड आल्सो लाइक टू शो यू दैट व्हाई आई एम टॉकिंग अगेन एंड again about this particular temple being in the mid of the city, because you see that this entire area is so much congested and it is very difficult, you know, to have a free movement over here. So definitely if there is such kind of a cowardly attack that's been made by Pakistan, then it is definitely very much clear, very much sure that there is going to be damage over here, and that this is the kind of damage that's been caused. And in fact, we just not showed you one particular house, a wall, a temple that was damaged, but you see here another wall that's also been damaged, because remember that when there is a shelling of the artillery, it definitely explodes and it spreads to a larger area. Behind me is that
we'll keep coming back to you and keep sending us those reports from ground zero. Times now, of course, is the war zone. Let me quickly get in responses from a guest who have been waiting quite patiently at this point. Suresh Kumar Goyal is a former diplomat who's joining us, as well as Air Marshal R.C. Vajpayee, who is a defense expert. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me this morning. Ambassador Goyal, let me begin with you at this point. It's evident right now that Pakistan's ceasefire violations are becoming a provocation on the levels of the provocation that we saw at Pahalgam as well. How does India respond to this? Because it's evident now that this requires a counterstrike of its own. Ambassador Goyal, I think you'll have to unmute yourself.
Am I audible now?
Yes, please go on, sir.
Yeah, okay. I will talk more from the point of view of a diplomat and a strategist rather than a military person who may talk about the need for the counter-strike, attacks, and so on and so forth. There are two or three things which I would like to say here. First of all, after we had done the missile attacks within it, at the targets either in POK or in Pakistan, it was known to all the strategists and the military personnel that we should expect some kind of a reaction from Pakistan, even though there was advice from everybody, including international leaders, not to escalate. But some kind of a reaction from Pakistan was going to happen. Many thought that yesterday when there was a firing across the LoC, etc., that might be taken as a kind of a retaliation. But after that, Shehbaz Sharif has given a go-ahead to the army to take action. So my expectation is that there would be some kind of retaliation, some kind of an action from Pakistan in retaliation to what happened yesterday. The only hope that I read is a very fervent hope that this kind of a retaliation will be controlled, will be low-key. You know, like the firing across the LoC, that is something which our army and our forces have been dealing with it for a long time, and I think they can handle it. One has to be prepared for it. But I do hope that this kind of a firing across the LoC, which has been happening now for many years actually, does not escalate into something bigger.
Indeed.
That is something that we need to look for. But this action is a normal thing, and for some time, we should continue to expect it to happen till things change again.
Air Marshal Vajpayee, what, again, as Ambassador Goyal pointed out, he spoke about the strategic options. In terms of military options, given the fact that Pakistan is targeting our military installations and our civilian population quite wantonly, what are the options we have, and to what extent should we necessarily hit back in order to ensure that there's sufficient deterrence that's given to the Pakistan military?
We can see in Pakistan total fear, frustration and anger after they failed to check our airstrike yesterday. And it was a well coordinated amongst three forces, Air Force, Army, Navy, as well as paramilitary forces, a very good Sindoor operation and a successful operation in that. Now, we expected this kind of retaliation from across the border, and now what they are doing, they are targeting civilian targets, which is not a good thing and not a correct thing.
Absolutely.
We have deliberately and very intentionally and carefully avoided hurting any military installations as well as civilian population. But Pakistan, as it happens, the first thing when they killed our innocent people here in the country, as well as now targeting temples, masjids, mosques, and the churches and all that. Now, this is not a good thing, and they are inviting more trouble for themselves.
Indeed.
We will appreciate that the good sense prevails and they stop this kind of hurting, but certainly we are ready to retaliate whether they want it through the navy, through the waters, through the
Absolutely.
land, and again from the air. We will not hesitate in striking further, because now we have resolved that, yes, we cannot tolerate any kind of terrorism, and we'll fight tooth and nail, and we'll try to wipe out totally.
All right. Marshal
Now,
Vajpayee
we
and
are
Ambassador
fully
Goel,
prepared for it.
do stay on with us, because, yes, as my guests have been saying, Pakistan is crossing a line with targeting religious places in the garb of retaliation. Pakistan Army shelling hit a Gurudwara, because of which, as we told you, one door was shattered and few glasses were shattered. Few people from the Sikh community were injured and killed as well. Here's a report filed by my colleague Tejshree from that Gurudwara.
You can see that how this entire terrace here, you can see that is completely broken over here. The iron rods can be seen over here. It is completely damaged over here. And in fact, it shows that now in a desperate move, how Pakistan is trying to, target the civilians on one hand, where India is targeting the terrorist. On the other hand, Pakistan is targeting the civilians. And you see that the damage was so high that, not just this particular area. We showed you that you see this entire these come outside, and Amitji will show you the visuals of this particular air conditioner also. There was an AC that was installed over here. You can see that the intensity of the attack must be so high that it in fact damaged this entire AC as well. And you see there were instruments also kept over here, so that at that point of time when they chant the prayers over here, this is the tabla. You can see that this tabla is also completely damaged. So you see what Pakistan is resorting to: unprovoked firing, not just today, but since after Pahalgam terror attack as well. And you see, once we showed you the visuals over there, now another visuals we'll show you over here. You see how these walls are completely damaged. There is no sign of humanity, and in fact we cannot even expect humanity from a country like Pakistan. But this is insane, this is disgusting, this is shameful what Pakistan has been doing. And now in fact we are in fact showing you the pictures inside the Gurudwara, and these are the pictures of the walls, the ceilings, the window panes. And now you see now how the intensity must be so high that the mortars, or in fact the shelling or the firing that continued over here, damaged this entire the walls inside the Gurudwara. And in fact several individuals were also injured over here.
आज पाकिस्तान की तरफ से एक हमला जो जम्मू कश्मीर में हुआ था, उसमें हमारे सिख भाइयों की मौत हुई है। सबसे पहले मैं उनके परिवारों के साथ संवेदना प्रकट करता हूं, क्योंकि ये बहुत ही, मैं समझता हूं, एक मानवता के खिलाफ काम जो है वो पाकिस्तान ने किया है। मैं इसकी जितनी निंदा की जाए उतनी कम है। मैं इस हमले की कड़ी निंदा करता हूं, और मैं समझता हूं उन परिवारों के साथ मैं आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार और पंजाब सरकार है उन परिवारों के साथ खड़ी है, क्योंकि उन्होंने देश के लिए बलिदान दिया है।
कि मैं पहले तो इसकी कड़े शब्दों में निंदा करता हूं। जो गुरुद्वारा पुंछ के ऊपर एक सिविलियन इलाके में मिसाइलों के साथ हमला किया गया, शाम को 7 बजे सुबह 7 बजे गुरुद्वारा साहब का प्रोग्राम समागम का खत्म हुआ, और ये 8 बजे मिसाइल वहां पे छोड़े गए, और गुरुद्वारा बाहर से नुकसान हुआ, गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब महाराज जी, और अंदर से परमात्मा की कृपा से सुरक्षित रहा। लेकिन ये हमारे धर्म पर, हमारी आस्था पे भी बहुत बड़ा हमला है।